Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
Welcome to the Pair Fair today. And today's story is entitled The Father, the Son, and the Donkey. Let's get all these characters in there. So the father, the son, and the donkey. Very interesting story. Not a long story, but it hits a lot of points that we want to talk about in a few minutes. So I hit 3 points and just interesting how things happen to people. All right, so let's listen to our story. We'll be right back.
Father and the Donkey. Banweril is a simple soul who believes whatever he is told. The village boys are aware of this and exploit his simplicity for a few laughs. One day, Banweril is on his way to the market with his son to sell their donkey. He comes across some village boys out to have fun. Seeing the father and son duo walking with the donkey, they first suggest that let the son ride on the donkey and save the effort. The son is put on the donkey's back. The boys then ridicule the boy for riding while the father walks. The father and son switch places. The father rides while the son walks. The boys then taunt the father for making the poor son walk and advise the duo to ride the donkey together. Thinking it a good idea, they comply. The poor donkey collapses from exhaustion. The boys then express their disgust at the duo for ill-treating the donkey and advise that they take the donkey to an animal doctor. The duo again follows the advice. On the way, they come across barking stray dogs. In the confusion that ensues, the donkey falls into the flowing river. The donkey is lost forever. Banweril loses the donkey because he follows what he is suggested without thinking for himself. Moral: he who listens to everybody will only become a laughing stock.
Welcome back from our story. As I listen to that story, it tells me a lot about how people in general, the father, the son, the donkey, how people will know if they can try to pull one over on you. They know that there's easy targets out there for certain people to really understand what's going on with them. As I watch some people and I see some people just playing with them, and some people haven't figured out that some people will tell you anything, and they think, oh, whatever he says, he's going to do it. I know recently I've been watching and trying to get more knowledge and get more technology and just learning a lot more. And there's some people that I really, as I watch them, I'm like, well, okay, all right, I see what's going on here. As I watch some people, they give you this information and they want you to do it. But sometimes the information is really not that great. This is where you got to use your reasoning skills that you have in your head. You really have to use the reasoning skills that you have. And we all have reasoning skills. Because a lot of times people will give you advice on how to do certain things. Just like in a story, the boys knew that, as they were walking, they could mess with those people. They said, oh, okay, let the dad ride on a donkey. Then they try to play that guilt trip on him. Okay, well, poor kid's got to walk. So the dad got down, the kid rode. Oh my gosh, they're making the kid ride. They're making the kid ride. They're making the dad ride. And so everyone's supposed to play these games on you, try to control you on your actions. And that's what happens a lot in life. We get certain people in our life who will give us advice. And they're going to try to tell you what you should do with your life. I have so much advice to give to people. But it's one of those things, advice, you don't really have to take it if it doesn't fit what you're trying to do. A lot of times we try to do certain things in our life, but it just doesn't match up what we're doing. I know I get advice all day. As soon as I wake up, people give me advice of what I should be doing. And I'm thinking to myself, is it going to help me with my goals that I'm trying to do for my podcast and some other things? Yesterday, I got this game changer. This piece of equipment. I call it a game changer because it's going to make my life a lot easier. It's going to make the podcast a lot better. We're going to go to video and all this other stuff, doing that with the podcast and doing the live streams. And I think it's a game changer. But I kept hearing people give me all this advice, and I just didn't take it just from one person. I went to about 15 to 25 people listening about this product, and they all had about the same thing they were saying about this product. It can do this, it can do that. I use it's flexible, it's doing that. And I said, okay, that's what I need to get to the next level. And that's what sometimes that's what we have to do. Don't just listen to one person. Get a lot of different pieces of advice when you make that crucial investment into something. And be honest with you, the piece of equipment I have, it's not cheap. It's really not cheap. But I realize if I'm going to get it, it's going to be something that I know it's going to take us to the next level. And a lot of times as we're walking and we're doing things and we're going through life, we get some good information and we get some bad information. And that's what that happens to all of us all the time. I noticed when I was just trying to figure out some things with our business and figure out things with the podcast. Some of the information I got, I look back at it now and I said, why did I let that person waste my time? I said, they looked like they knew what they were doing, but did they really know what they're doing? I don't know. Just recently my car broke. It wasn't broke. It was leaking oil. It was leaking oil, and like I guess it was broke, but it was leaking oil, and it's been doing that for a while. And so I had to change the valve cover gaskets on it. And I just went to YouTube, and one of the resources I use is YouTube. One of the resources, Google, read YouTube. And I keep seeing all these videos about changing the valve covers on a certain car that I have. And I would go through them. I saw that, some people would just like tell you the basic stuff, tell you the basics, and then there's one video and there's another video, another basic. This one person got into a little bit more, and then this one person went into it really detailed. He named off all the parts that you have to take care of. He named off all the little nuances that you have to do. He gave you tips of things that you should do. He said, hey, over here, you may have some problems. You might get some wraps to wrap these wires up. And I was like, wow, over here, you might have to do this and do that. And I found myself, he got more in detail. And that's what happens a lot in life. A lot of times people are talking real general, just surface level stuff. But when you start digging deeper into the situation, you're glad you had those little insights, the little details that is going to make the project a lot better. Now, as I finish up the project, I thought to myself, I go, wow, that was interesting. I'm glad I took their advice instead of someone else's advice. Because if I took someone else's advice and I really didn't listen to clearly, and it was just really general, the car would still be where it is. And that was the first time I did the repair. I did a really good job because I told myself, give yourself some time and just do step by step by step. I said, a lot of times on these videos that we see, they're like 15-minute videos, but in actuality, they take 6-7 hours to complete the job. But they cut out all the like little things that you have to get done. And that's what happens a lot of times in life. A lot of little things that we have to get done, we kind of just brush aside. As we listen to certain people, and it's okay to listen to certain people. I know today I had an interaction with a person that came in, and they were kind of upset about what's going on at the current moment. And they had their opinion, and I had my opinion, but I didn't really force my opinion. I just let the person, talk about it, get it out, and, but it doesn't mean I take their advice. I take their opinion, and I say, okay, that's how I'm going to be now. Because I notice there's some people, they're always chasing the latest and greatest piece of advice. If someone says this, they run toward it and they go for it. It could be the worst advice ever. I know just recently as I listened to some people's advice, and I'm thinking to myself, really? It tells you on the package not to do that, but you're still going to do that. And I don't get it. And there's some people in this world or all over. It's amazing how some people can tell them to do certain things and they do it without thinking. I don't know if it's just being respectful or just not using your brain. I'm just trying to figure it out for myself. As I watch myself and as I listen to myself and as I think about all the things that I've been working on with this podcast, and I'm thinking about all the people who've given me advice about this podcast, I tell myself, why did you trust that person with the advice they gave you? I said, reason why is because over a year now that I've been working with this podcast, a lot of things that they said are really coming to heart. And I told myself, you got to make sure that when you give someone some advice, don't waste their time. Don't just play games with that person's head, because that's what happens so many times. We play games with people. I know as I'm putting this project together, this other project together, and everything's going great, and people were it's amazing how when you start a project, someone has an idea, and they take this idea, and they said this idea, they text me and say, hey, I think we should do this and do that. And I said, that's fine. I said, what do you need me to do? Well, we need you to put it together. And I said, okay, no problem. Okay, well, it's your idea. I'm going to send it back to you. We'll go back and forth. Let me know, make any changes. So this is where the hard part gets. We start putting things together. We have a sign-up sheet. It's okay. We need you to do this, this, and this. So at the beginning, everyone's excited. Everyone's excited about signing up for being on the video. Everyone's excited. Then what happens? They realize, oh, that's going to require me to do some work. That's going to require me to do some planning. That's going to require me to sacrifice some of my own time. I don't know if I can do that. So as we put the deadline out there, we had a hard deadline for let's say, for example, it was Friday. We had a hard deadline for Friday. And then it just slowly but surely, the clips start coming in. The people who had the clips, they started coming in. But then there were some people who did not have the clips. And I had a choice to make. Could I email them, tell them, I need this, I need that, I need this? Or can I just say, there's other people who are just saying, you know what, I really want to be in it now. I looked at it. I saw what we're trying to do. Can I take their part? I said, well, hey, it's Saturday now. So we got to get this done. I said, the people who are expecting me to do this, they expected to have it by Monday or Tuesday. They want to look at it Monday and Tuesday and say, okay, we like this. We don't like this. Let's change this. But I keep waiting for people, and people saying, oh, no. They really want to be in the video, and keep waiting and waiting. And I realize this in life, not everyone's going to wait around for you. Not everyone's going to wait around for you to get yourself together. Not everyone's going to walk up to you and hand you everything. You're going to actually have to sit yourself down, and you have to work for it. But a lot of times we don't want to do that. We really don't want to do that whatsoever. We want to sit around and moan and groan and talk about how difficult things are. And that's what happens a lot to us in life. It just happens to these people who are in this story, as we referred to earlier. Someone could tell them, hey, the sky is, wow, it's raining. It could not even be raining. They would believe it. You can't be that gullible out there. You got to use your brain. And a lot of times, like this podcast, it's all about motivation. And a lot of times the reason why people don't accomplish their goals is not because they can't do it. It's because they let people talk them out of their goals. I listen to people all the time. And I always ask them, what happened to that goal you had a long time ago? Well, everyone said I couldn't do it. I said, so you believe them? Everyone said this. Everyone said that. Well, I just didn't think it was good for me. So you got in the middle of it, and then you quit. Yeah, I quit. Yeah, okay. And I know we all have that same thought in our head, just sometimes with our podcasts, with our jobs, whatever. We get in the middle of it, and you say, why am I doing this? No one's going to miss this podcast. Sometimes I feel like no one's going to miss it. Yes, they will. As I looked at my numbers today, I'm thinking, wow, I got some listeners in Dublin, Ireland. I'd have never, ever thought people in Dublin, Ireland would be listening to something I have to say. They're not many, but they're listening. And imagine if I had to quit. And that's what happens, because people try to discourage me and say, you know what, maybe your podcast is really not that great. And I said, well, okay, that's good. Do you have anything? Nah, but I know podcasts. But that's what you have to realize. People who don't want you to do much, they're going to tell you all kind of things to do. Okay? So as we end up our podcast today, and as we look at the Father, the Son, and the donkey, don't listen to everyone who's going to try to give you advice to get you off your path. Set your goals. Stay on your goals. It's okay to listen to them. But if they're not going to get you to your goals, keep moving, keep grooving, and keep getting better. And once again, thank you for all the listeners that we have on the different platforms. Thank you for encouraging us. Bye-bye.
This week's episode has come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook.